What are we doing anyway?
Guys, Construct Your Life is back. Sorry, we called Omar in the beginning because he doesn't even know what we're doing. Guys, look who it is. Guys, it's been a while since we've updated. And when in Austin years, it might as well have been 10 years.
Might as well been.
So the last time that we talked was somewhere early spring. So it's been 6 months. So we wanted to come on, guys, you've listened to a couple of these. Omar comes on, we chat, we update our lives, and Omar kind of grills me on what's going on. But first, before we do that, I want to ask Mr. Omar Pinto how he's doing.
That's a loaded question, Austin.
Well, I mean, let's just say it's Tuesday today. How does today fall for you?
It's interesting because a lot of my clients are Jewish. So I have a large clientele of Jewish. So normally my week is pretty full. I usually have about anywhere from 12 to 16 clients a week. Okay, that's usually what I have. Wow. Average. So then we're talking about
putting in the work,
putting in the hours, right? And so many of them are currently in, they've been celebrating Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah and Sukkot. And so it's like 3 weeks where they just basically take time
what they say about idle hands, right?
It's the devil's workshop.
Or
it's a giant buffet, So, but here's the interesting thing, because I do go into a little bit of a fear just for being human, right? It's like, oh my God, I'm like, literally, I'm like down to 10 clients, maybe. Like if I don't even want to count. Like, I don't even want to look. It might be under.
And you a year ago would have prayed for the 10 clients.
Oh my God. 10 clients would have been,
So here's the deal. There's a gap between the reality of the situation that we're in and currently the past version of who we are that leads between the idle hands create this whole cycle in the brain of self-talk.
It does, and it's a great topic. It's a great topic because what happens is it forces me to ground myself. Okay, and here's the thing: I didn't get that perspective either. Like it's been so long since I didn't have a full roster, since I didn't have a full week of clients. I can't even remember, but it hasn't been that long. It's been maybe a year and a half since I was in a position where I was like, I would love to have 10 clients.
I have something for you. New levels equal new devils.
Okay, expand.
So every time, so here's the issue that I see between my clients and people that are just getting started out in real estate is that you act like a millionaire or a billionaire doesn't have problems. No. Everybody has problems. The fact that you don't think you're going to have problems is actually your problem. And so every time when you become a better version of yourself, you're more adapt to handle the problem. So a millionaire or billionaire might not affect them the same way, but they still have employees, they still lose money, they still have issues. And the fact that you don't think there's going to be problems is the bigger issue, right? And I relate this to this, okay? And I said this, and I haven't released it yet, but I wrote it. And I'm not ready. I need to reword it before I offend some people. But my comment was, everybody sees me get up in the morning and they see my consistency and they see how I do it. And this is the number one question I get. What time do you go to bed? It's the wrong question. You need to ask me this. What drives you so much and what sets your soul on fire so much that you're able to get up with intention and purpose every day that way? You're asking a fisherman how the fish tastes, and you're not asking him how he caught so many fish.
That's a great question.
What's Jay-Z said this. You're falling in love and emulating the results instead of falling in love and emulating the process.
I talk about that all the time. It's super, and it's just a reminder, not just for, the people that I'm talking to or my clients, but we're in a society that is completely driven by results. So if the results are not there, then the process becomes irrelevant, or it becomes it could be even a handicap at that point. Oh, I must be doing something wrong because I'm not getting the results that I want. Versus, oh, I need some time to reflect on what it is that's going on right now in my life, because there's an opportunity that's being presented to me, and I'm not paying attention. And so even right now, like I've been doing like some, because of the time, because I have time, I do a lot more meditation. Okay. So my meditation practice goes from like rushing it. Okay, I'm going to do a 15-minute meditation, 20-minute meditation. I'll do an hour meditation now in the mornings.
Oof.
And so I'll do a few guided ones. And then I'm like, all right, I'm ready to listen. Okay. So I know you're trying to show me something. I'm not quite sure what it is. Maybe I'm afraid to see something. Am I afraid to see something? Okay. What am I unwilling to see? Right. And it's always like, even when I say that, I get like a little kind of like the hairs on the back of my head start to stand up, right? Because I start to feel this sort of like, maybe I don't want to know. Maybe I don't want to know what I don't know. Okay. Because uncertainty is, such a terrifying thing for so many people. And what I don't know, I might not like. Okay. But ultimately, whether I like it or not, it's coming. Right. It's coming. So why not just get this out of the way? Just show me what it is. And you know what she showed me, and I always say it's a she, right? I've done so much ayahuasca that, I don't connect with a male god anymore.
Sure.
I was like,
who would want to? We're crazy.
I go, okay. So mama, show me, right? I'm not seeing something, right? And she's like, how about you just relax?
Well,
that's what it was. Message. She goes, why don't you just relax? Okay.
I could get that message every day and it would be appropriate, because there is this concept that we keep talking about, and we just talked about it yesterday, is this understanding that the moment that you succeed, that things outside of you are the answer or what you can control, is the moment that you lose the game. And the moment that understanding that at the end of the day, somebody asked me yesterday, like, what drives you? What is like, serious the thing is like, I just want to see you as a human, meaning who's ever in front of me, a friend, somebody in recovery. I just want to see you understand that you were put on this earth for some reason. And the more that you run from that reason, the more that you will be unhappy with what you have in front of you. Mm-hmm. The more that you take time, stop for 2 seconds, clear out the cobwebs, identify what it is that you do best, which could be whatever you want. Then you become that version of yourself that you're looking for, that really, to be honest with you, is probably closer than you actually think. But you have to let go of what you think you should be, or what the society or mom or dad should be. And it's interesting because I interviewed this very successful entrepreneur who created an app where moms and dads can journal their journey with their kids. And we got to talking about dads, and about 45 minutes talking about family and my situation. And he messaged me afterwards and he said, I want to send you this gift, and I want to send you the song. And basically the song says, send the text, sing the song, send the message till you can't. You'll always wish until you can't. And he goes, I would implore you to take some time and remove past whatever problems you have with your father, and make the effort. And in the same vein, in the same week, I interviewed it with an amazing friend, Angelo Cisco, and he said the problem with men, especially when it comes to their parents, is they've never reached the second level of their relationship. They're still the 17-year-old, the 16-year-old. They've never made peace that they're now the adult, and they're an adult. And so yesterday I had a 30-minute conversation with my father that was probably one of the better ones that we've had in a long time. And we both said that, like, I'm not 17 anymore, and you're almost 40. And he goes, you don't have to validate anything to me. And I said, not only do I not have to validate to you, I basically don't give a shit what you think. I'm doing my own thing. And he goes, fucking awesome. But I tell you what I realized, in the last couple months. I realized that my dad was the first entrepreneur that I ever saw.
Oh.
Even though he wasn't selling it during my younger years because he loved college. But I realized that he's taught me more than I ever known because I refuse to see it.
We throw the baby out with the bathwater. We reject whatever we reject about someone that hurt us. We just reject it all. And we do the same thing to ourselves. You know, there are moments where we do so many shitty things. You know, we make so many mistakes. And that's one of the things that I help people with. Probably one of the things that I do the most is this idea of forgiving yourself, because it is so painful. The shame, there's so much shame attached to so many different moments in your life where you utterly failed. I mean, epic mistakes and catastrophes and regrets, things that you've done where you've hurt yourself and hurt others that at some point feel as though they're unredeemable. And so here's what happens. The interesting thing that happens is you'll either self-sabotage into such a desperate pit of despair, all right, that you're forced to climb your way out of it, or you snap out of it and you're like, I can't live this way anymore. And anyone that's listening to this knows, because everyone has a different, I can't live this way anymore. And then you just start to grind. You just start to grind, and you grind, and then you start to grind some more. And then I'm working 30 hours a week, 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week. And I get into this state of mind where I'm so tunnel focused on getting somewhere. Many of us don't know where that is, but we decide that I'm going to grind, because if I don't grind, if I don't move, if I don't produce, if I'm not productive, then idle time is the devil's workshop, right? I'll slip. There's this fear of slipping backwards, right? So I'm pulling myself. I'm just like, I got to grind. I got to work. I got to make it happen. I got to do it, right? I got to work out. I got to eat right. I got to do this. I got to do personal development, right? And then what happens is this: you get to a point where you're just spent. You're just physically exhausted from all the grinding and all the working. And you find yourself somewhere with a lot of success at some point. Okay. Because grinding equals success. Okay. Don't kid yourself, folks. When you grind, when you commit to grinding, when you commit to working, you will find success. But what you won't necessarily find is happiness.
Well, perfect example. So I'm in a mastermind. Ed Milet said, he posed this question, and I'll pose it to you. Are you in the pursuit of happiness, or are you living in a state of joy? Because the pursuit of happiness,
amazing question,
meaning that you'll never find it. But if you're living every day in joy, then that embodies who you are and your energy, right? And you really are what you attract. And here's the deal. We can second guess ourselves right out the side door, or we can say, I'm just going to show up every day for myself, for my daily habits. And I'm going to let, Kyle C said this, your goals, even your goals, are still small, because your goals are predicated and written down from a past view of who you are. And so they can only be so high. But in the moment, if you showed up to them every day and you said, I'm just going to show up in the highest form of who I am, step into my gifts, then those ends know no bounds.
It's incredible how the dramatic effect that happens, and when you kind of reach that point where you realize that nothing that I have done is making me happy, then, this is where I introduced this topic of foreboding joy. So Brene Brown is one of the ones that first started this. The first time I heard about foreboding joy was with Brene Brown. And really what it is we avoid, or we prevent ourselves from feeling, or more importantly, expressing joy, because joy is an expression, happiness is a feeling. So we prevent ourselves from expressing joy because of the fear of disappointment. I've been hurt so many times. I've been disappointed. I've allowed myself to get excited. I've allowed myself to have hope. I've allowed myself to feel good, for lack of a better word. And I've been let down and I've been disappointed. I thought that when I got this degree, I was going to feel happy. I thought that when I ended up getting married and moving across the country and making 6 figures and then making 7 figures, I thought I was going to be happy when I reached this. And it's not happening for me. And I go, chances are you're still in this state of foreboding joy, because the idea of losing joy is more painful than not experiencing it at all. I can only fall so far when I'm standing on a step. But when I get to the third floor, that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. So what happens is this: we just start to develop coping mechanisms that are there to protect us, right? So as soon as I start to feel the joy coming on, okay, it's like, okay, all right, but something could go wrong.
I know.
Okay, don't get too excited, because something could go wrong.
I can't have this much money in the bank because something's going to happen. I can't be this happy with my partner because something's going to happen. And what you realize, right? Only because I've experienced it in the last couple months. When you start winning, when you start making money, the reaction towards the winning or the reaction towards the losing weight becomes like, yeah, I knew it. And then the game changes, right? Because you're just looking at, hey man, like, and we'll get into it. This is a really fucked up situation, but I swear there's something in here that's working for me, right? I swear there's something in here. I can't see it, and I don't believe it. Thank God I have a partner that's like, hey, it's all good, right? Like, just dial it down, right? But what it made me realize is that it's okay, right? And this took so much work to get to a place where, like, maybe for like an hour or two, I fucking lose my shit, right? Like, but then like I bring it back and I always ask myself the question, what can you control and what do you own? Meaning, what ownership do you take in the situation? And then I look at the problem and I lean right into that motherfucker, like as hard as I can. And basically I go, you're not going to quit me. Like, my problem, you're not going to quit me. Like, you're not going to break up with me because I'm going to own you. And every time I own you and get past it, then I create this new level of myself, right? And we were talking about this yesterday. You can read a book today and you could read the same book 6 months from now, and that book has 2 different meanings.
Oh, absolutely.
Isn't that life though?
Yes, absolutely. And I've read The Alchemist like 5 times.
Yeah. I'm on my second through on 2 different books, and they're totally different.
Yes. Okay. And it's usually that used to be my go-to book when I was jammed.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's a fable. Okay. But it has such great messaging that it pulls me into like another dimension. As I'm reading it, like, these ideas start to spark. Right. And so, one of the big things that I got out of this experience right now, where I've had to force to slow down, is like when I go into my deep meditations and I'm like, one of the questions is always for me, what is this here to show me? What is this here to teach me? What is this here to show me? What is this here to teach me? So when someone's jammed, somebody's stuck, I go, okay, well, let's start first with breathing. So let's close your eyes, deep breath. Take 3 deep breaths. Bring down the energy, bring down the intensity. What is this here to show me? What is this here to teach me? So the thing is, first, I have to do an immediate state change, right? Because I'm intense. So, and a lot of times when somebody is stressed out, right, they're intense. There's a lot of intensity. I don't know what to do, right? And so it's like, first of all, we got to bring all the intensity down. And we got to ask that one question, those two questions. What are you trying to show me? What are you trying to teach me? Or what am I unwilling to see? A lot of times I'll wait till the third one. What am I unwilling to see? Because as soon as I say, what am I unwilling to see? They'll usually go, oh,
yeah.
Oh, what am I unwilling to see? And so what happened was, like when I've been doing these deep meditations, like I only had 2 clients yesterday. Right. And so there's 2 versions of Omar. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I only have 2 clients. What the? Okay. Panic. Okay. And then the other version, right? It's like, what are you here to teach me? And that's when she said, relax. You have 4 or 5 clients in a day, and then you're praying to me going, Mama, help me. 5 clients is too much. I can't take that many. It's like, right. So it's never enough for you, right? It's either too much or too little or whatever, you know what I mean? And hold on. And she says, and she goes, okay, here's my question to you. I'm in a meditation. She's like, here's my question to you. What are you going to do with the extra time? And don't say work.
Yeah.
Right? She said, don't say work. And I go, I'm pretty sure my wife's got the morning free. How about you make breakfast with your wife, take a walk with the dogs.
How dare you?
Enjoy your family. How about you use the word enjoy that you're always coaching your clients about, the foreboding joy shit that you're currently doing right now? Okay. Why don't you go and enjoy yourself? Okay. You've been talking about you need to drop off the car to go get the oil change and all that stuff. You don't have time. Looks like you have some time, right? Drop off the car, come back, and buddy, I had an amazing day yesterday where my focus was on joy. So I went out and I'm like, honey, how about we make breakfast together and take the dogs for a walk and like spend some time?
Oh my God.
We ended up having a really deep hour-long conversation. And as I was sitting at the kitchen table, I'm like, oh, wow, look at this opportunity that just presented itself where I could be here 100% present for my wife, where I'm not, honey, I got to call, right? We got to cut this short. Right? Well, we got to jam and eat breakfast real quick because she's got calls and I got calls, right? Here's a beautiful opportunity that just presented itself for you to enjoy this time that you have earned, which is another big word, okay? Which is earn it. Did you earn it? Did I earn it? Right? And there's nothing wrong with earning it. As a matter of fact, the only way that you appreciate what you truly have is when you have earned it. And this is just proof. My own proof is the only time I truly can sit and fuck off and watch Netflix and, spend a couple hours with my wife or go walking or go hiking is when I look back at my week and I know I did it. Like I killed my week. I earned my weekend. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times what happens is this, I killed my week, right? How do I get ready for the next week? I spent the weekend ruminating about what I did or didn't do the week before and start thinking about what I can accomplish in the following week instead of taking that beautiful pause that's been presented to me, which is time and space to enjoy. And that's not really cultivated enough. And so right now what the message is, you've got some time, enjoy yourself.
So much there. One of the things somebody asked me the other day, they said, how can you handle so many things? Coaching, building businesses, 2 podcasts, everything. It just triggered me when we talked about what we talked about earlier. My dad was a very high powered dentist, very busy. And he used to have the sheet down, right? The sheet was like the next day, schedule. And he said that after a year, he had to stop doing that because if he had a difficult person on the schedule, he would spend all night thinking about how he's going to handle that thing. And he just got rid of it. And so what my answer to them was, I just handle what's in front of me in that moment. And maybe I'm a quick thinker. Maybe I can adapt. But also it's this other thing I'm working on. And this is my huge thing. Aubrey Marcus was talking about this and this word choice. we as society, grumpy as fuck, walk around, bitch and moan, acting like we don't have a choice. You don't have to scale. You don't have to add that other business. You don't have to add that other client. You don't have to eat. You don't have to have water. All those things are a choice, but you're walking around and complaining, bitching and moaning like you don't have a choice in the matter.
Are you talking about the interview with Aubrey Marcus and N. Milet?
Yes.
One of the best interviews I
seriously
ever
seen.
So
the two best interviews I've ever heard is Aubrey Marcus and Seth Godin, and Aubrey Marcus and Ed Milet. It's two of the best interviews I've ever heard. Dude, like, and here's the deal. And I can take him with a grain of salt sometimes because he's a little, but I understand his focus and where he's coming from. He's ultimately saying to people, the choice is yours. Stop acting like you don't have one. That's like, and the thing is like, I have to. No. I have 20 plus podcasts this week, 6 meetings, 12 coaching calls, but I get to. There's nothing on that schedule that's not a fuck yes. And so if that's the case, then you have your long-term goals and you have your short-term goals and you have your week goals. And the thing is that I am saying, where does this serve me? How can I show up for my future self? And do I need to be doing this? Right. And ultimately, at the end of the day, my clients are happy, my business partners are happy, and you're building up towards a legacy, right? And you get to choose. And don't get me wrong, I catch myself all the time, but it's those reminders. And so it's this concept of, did you have a bad day or did you have a bad hour? Right. And this guy, Mark, so his name is Mark England, is one of my favorite people in the world. He runs this group called Enlifted Coaches. I'm about to start a certification with him. And he says that the problem with people is they read their life like this, where the book's right here up against their fucking face and they can't see shit. He goes, I want you to do things. He goes, first off, Americans talk too fast. He goes, I want you to talk at 70%. He goes, every time you say a sentence, I want you to breathe. And when you breathe, then you say the next sentence. And it kind of gets you to slow down your thinking. It gets you to take a pause, and it gets you to own what's in front of you. And that's kind of the situation, right? Is that we're walking around being affected by every little outside force, by every little
distractions.
Thing. Yeah.
Distractions.
Not only that, but here's the thing. I also think that when you self-destruct or when you're in toxicity, I think that you crave that because it's the only thing that you know. Like, I'll be honest with you, I'm really having to learn how to win. This is really weird for me. And now, like, money's coming from every freaking which way. And it's like, we're on this momentum train. And I'm like, when's the train going to stop? Or is it not going to stop?
Mm-hmm.
Or, and so now I'm having to like do this whole new thing where it's like, oh my God, life's really good. How do I not fuck this up? Which sounds so ridiculous, but it is true. Like,
well, here's what I've learned is that, the word complacency has so much is so much a deeper word than we give it credit for. But, when we face adversity, it prevents us from being complacent. So, we're a lot of times the fear of success is not the fear of success. It's the fear of sustaining success. So it's two very different things, right? Like, anyone can hit a home run, but can I hit a home run every game? And so I go from going, oh my God, I can't believe I hit a home run. That's fucking amazing, right? To, okay, get up there. We're expecting another home run.
Yeah.
Right. And so what life has taught me is this, right? Is that in these moments, like you were just talking about, it's like, oh my God, it's pouring, right? I have these big months, and it without fail, I do my numbers at the end of each month, and I go, honey, look at that month. That's what I'm talking about, right? And there's a little voice in my head says, yeah, but are you going to do it next month? Right? It's the entrepreneur. Let me tell you something. It's the entrepreneur question. It's right. And then the other one is, oh man, this month was not that great, right?
But here's what it allows us: the freedom to create whatever month we want. The thing that I fall in love with entrepreneurship is there's no ceiling. If I worked really hard at my job and I waited tables or I did this, there was I made great money, but that's like here. But like really the control, right? As me and Anthony talk about, it's not work-life balance, it's work-life control. So it's control of income, right? It's control of schedule, it's control of, there's no ceiling. I think that ultimately, don't you love the fact that if Omar's feeling it, right? Like if he's feeling it and he wants to double down, you could take those 12 clients to 18 clients and you could add on that much revenue. Like the freedom in that, I don't know if you can put a price tag on having that flexibility in your life.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. There is time in my week for more, right? I choose, right? And I got to tell you that impact when I was listening to that interview with Ed Milet and Aubrey Marcus, right? And it was like, I remember when I would have to go see my mom every 2 weeks. Okay. So it was on the calendar every 2 weeks, because I had my daughter every 2 weeks. So it was an expectation that my mom was like, okay, every Sunday we're getting together for lunch, every other Sunday. Right. And what would happen to me was I would spend right after that Sunday, I was exhausted. I was physically, mentally, emotionally just taxed. It took me a couple of days of kind of like reeling myself from the intoxication of being around my mom for too many hours. Because even when we were together, she wouldn't want us to leave. So she would be like, okay, so let's have lunch and now let's play Parcheesi, or let's play Rummy Q, or let's play Canasta. Okay. Hour-long games. Like she's just dragging it along. There was no I felt trapped. And then I would finally get my bearings. Like, oh, okay. Okay, that's over with. Oof. By Tuesday, I'm good. Right. The following weekend comes where I'm not with my mom, but I'm already thinking, oh my God, next weekend I could spend Sunday with my mom. Right. I would be ruining my whole weekend. Here's me. My wife, what's wrong with you? Oh God, I got to go see my mom. And she's like, but honey, you don't have to. Yeah, I do. I got to go see my mom. Mm-hmm. I got to see her. Okay. Right. Because of this, and that. She goes, but I know you think you do, but you don't. And I remember watching that interview with Aubrey Marcus and Ed Milet, and he goes, people think they have to do things. They walk around miserable and angry, right? And frustrated. Man, I got to go to work. I got to get up tomorrow. I got to get up early tomorrow, and I got to go to the gym. And then after the gym, I got to get home, right? And I got to drop the kids off at school. And then I got to get to the office, and I got to do this. And he's like, people forget they have a choice. No, you don't. And I take it to extreme, right? Like when I got that, I was like, oh my God, I actually don't. I got to pay my taxes. No, you don't. I mean, you're going to pay consequences for it. Okay.
Right? But you don't have to, look, here's the deal.
You don't have to do anything.
Here's a true story. And I know you dealt with this, and thank God you already paved the way for me because you've taught me. It's so hard. This is the number one thing I'm working on. You ready? This is the coach's crutch. My attachment to your outcome as a client.
Oh yeah.
And my energy to it makes me when I'm all in, I'm all in. Makes me an amazing coach, and you will change. And it'll also rip me to shreds in the same.
It will tear you apart. I'm so glad you brought that up.
This is the number one thing that I will work on for the next year.
Okay. Or you can just work on it now. Okay. Yeah. So ultimately, right.
I mean, I'm working on it every day. Let's just
no. Okay. But I'm just going to give you a quick, cause that's me to a T. It's like my value and self-worth, my sense of value, my sense of validation and accomplishment, self-worth is all wrapped around my clients' happiness and success. And did we achieve our objectives? Okay. And, it's not my responsibility, okay, to manage the emotional, it is not my responsibility. The emotional, good Lord, I already forgot it. Look at me. I was about to coach you and it just went.
It's all good.
Okay. It is not the emotional well-being of the emotional well-being of others is not my responsibility. That's what it was. Okay. And I remember when one of my coaches was like, because it took me years of coaching with my mom. Okay. And it was like, the emotional well-being of anyone else is not your responsibility. It is not your responsibility.
Their problems are not your problems.
Their problems are not. If they're coming to you, it is for guidance. It is their choice whether or not they want to do the work, okay, and follow the suggestions, okay, and it's not your responsibility.
And 90, let me ask you this too. 90% of the time, the thing that they think they're coming to me for, we go 180 degrees the opposite direction.
Oh my God. That used to be the case. Yeah. But here's one of the things that I've learned when it comes to this, right? When I unpack this further, one of the things that I coach people on is the drama triangle. Okay. And there's 3 roles in the drama triangle, which is victim, persecutor / aggressor, and the rescuer / hero. So in any codependent drama triangle or toxic relationship, okay, you will be playing one or all of those roles at some point, and the person that you are in the relationship will play one of the multiple of those roles. So with my mother and I, okay, she slipped right into the victim role, okay, and I slipped into the hero rescuer role, okay. Mm-hmm. So when that happens, okay, if my mother is not happy, I was feeling responsible. When my mother was depressed, when my mother was sick, when something was wrong with my mom, okay, I felt horrible. What do I have to do? I had to stop my entire life to take her to the hospital, take her to the doctor, to go sit with her, to whatever the case may be, right? And it was never good enough. I could never spend enough time with her. It was never enough. And so there was this deep sort of subconscious sense of being a failure. Like it was just this constant, like I couldn't put my finger on it, right? But ultimately what happened is I had taken on this role as the rescuer, because this is what the role I took on very early on in my childhood, because I saw my father as the aggressor persecutor, my mother as the victim. I got to save her. And so what happened was that just pushed out into the world. And when I was unable to save my mother, then I was trying to redeem myself through saving others. Okay. I can't tell you how many women I got involved with that were just absolute train wrecks. Okay. And immediately the more of a mess they were, the more it was like, I am here. Right. Oh, it's always some kind of drama, and I'm the listener, and I'm there, and I'm trying to save them. Okay. And it took me many years to figure out this. I got into the coaching business. Okay. And I'd be in there working with my clients, and they'd be having marital problems. They'd be having financial struggles. And I am racking my brains, right? Like we're doing the coaching, right? And there's a system. There is a very systematic way that I coach people. One of them is working them through this particular aspect, which is the drama triangle. The other one is the 6 human needs. I take them through 6 human needs with Tony Robbins, right? I do values and character traits. Okay. It's 3 exercises, very basic, but it tells me everything I need to know about my client. Okay. And when they refuse to do that work, right, they'll show up to the call and I go, did you do your homework? Oh man, I was so busy this week, and oh, you won't believe what happened. And then this happened and that happened. And then I find the whole hour is me trying to figure out how to help them get out of this fucking pit that they continue to dig themselves into. Right. And I'm over there trying to pull them out. Okay. And it was like, I remember at some point, I remember I was one of the people that I was coaching. Right. And she was also coach. She is a coach. Right. So, we had a trade. Okay. So I was coaching her and she was coaching me. Right. And she goes, I understand why you're so frustrated with me. And I go, why? Because you can't save me.
Boom.
That statement landed like a brick house landed on top of me. I'm like, God, I'm still doing it. So, and then, I mean, here's the beautiful thing about personal development. When it lands,
boom, stop.
And you recognize the belief
you can't
system,
unsee the matrix.
No, and it just goes. It's like this hard. It's Top Gun. Okay, I'm gonna pull the brakes, and they're gonna fly right past me.
You know what he did? He said to me this statement. And literally like stopped the car. Your need to be the hero for your clients is victimhood still.
Bam. Let it land.
Your need to be the hero for your client is still victimhood. I was like, fuck me. You just literally blew up my entire world.
Austin, suggestion. Google the drama triangle.
I will. So hear me out. We believe this, these guys, these group of coaches, I've interviewed all of them on the podcast. We believe that the actual crutch in society is not drugs and alcohol, is not porn, is not addiction to work. We believe that it's victimhood.
It's victimization. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's no question. Because here, from that place, from the place of the victim, there is no growth. Zero. You cannot create.
Zero.
You cannot grow.
Create shit. You can't do anything.
Nothing.
It doesn't even exist. So here's the deal.
There's blame and justification and excuses and complaining and narcissism.
With the client, the number one thing that you do is try to remove him from that space, because we can't even create goals at all until we get you out of that space. And let me tell you something, the energy I'm talking with this other great coach in LA. He goes, I used to help people who had addictions and everything, and I had to stop doing it because I don't have the energy to pull.
Are you sure that wasn't me?
I don't have.
Are you sure that wasn't me? No, because that's why I left.
But what he's doing now is he's coaching coaches, because at least they get it on some level.
Yeah.
And let me be honest with you guys, anybody that's listening there, I'm going to tell you right now, because I lived it for 20 years and it's my specialty. But going in a bunker with somebody, putting on your fucking snake boots and your fucking machete and going in and pulling some out of victimhood is the most arduous, energy-ridden project you will ever endeavor. Because everything is a fucking problem.
Everything
is an obstacle. Everything is a fucking nightmare. And you're complaining and complaining and complaining. And to be honest with you, it's exhausting. And if that is you right now, button it the fuck up and figure it out, because people don't even want to be around it. It's just.
No, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
No, actually,
absolutely wrong.
Pardon me. They have their own community of victimhood.
Yeah. No, because if you go back to the triangle,
mm-hmm.
Pardon
me. Let me rephrase that. We don't want to be around it.
Right. Exactly. Because let me assure you, okay, for every victim, there is a rescuer. Okay. Or there is either a rescuer or an aggressor. Okay.
Love it.
Victim loves to be in that role.
Yeah.
It has the aggressor, so it can constantly be complaining to the rescuer about how horrible their life is. And then the rescuer is like, why don't you just leave? You should just leave them. But I can't. And so you just spend days, weeks, years listening to the same.
I think you'll do what I do. If we had the same conversation for more than 2 months with a coaching client, I'll give them 1 week. I said, either the narrative changes or I'm walking away.
Oh no, I got a better one. Here's what I do. I go, so we can either do one of two things. I can either be your therapist or I can be your coach. Now, if I'm your therapist, it's going to benefit me more financially because I could drag this on for years. Okay. We've had the same conversation the 3 last calls. So I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, we can do this for years, or you can let me coach you. Okay. And we can be done in about 8 weeks. Okay. But here's the thing. Right now, the focus is not on you. The focus is on everything else and everyone else except you. So you are slipping right into victim. And so it's like I said, I'm going to leave it right here. When we show up next week, Okay. On our call, you just tell me how, because we could keep going. We'll hang on the same conversation. We could do this for the next year. And I got to tell you, Austin, every time I do that little slapsticks, they're like, all right, dude.
Somebody asked me the other day, what's the difference between a therapist and a coach? A coach focuses on the future, a therapist focuses on everything behind you. It's as simple as that. Like, I'm not going to play the game. If you want to address some stuff in the past, when you're in the right mindset to handle it, then we'll address it. But currently, let's focus on creating some habits that'll move you forward. Let's attack a growth mindset, remove you from the fixed mindset, and then we can kind of do what we do. We got a couple more minutes here. The conversation always next level shit, but
this feels like an Aubrey Marcus.
Yeah, I do want to kind of update people on, this is why we come on here, kind of my life, because I always have guests on, so they don't. So, as many of you followed, I left Texas into July to pursue an opportunity with a mentor of mine. It kind of gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. I have a new philosophy when it comes to business and coaching clients and just anything in general. I will not move an inch if there is not alignment. And I really think alignment in values, who they are, what they stand for, what's the mission here, what are we doing? And for me, this was a no-brainer. He is an amazing father. He's an amazing businessman. He is just a good human, and kind of said, listen, I need you. I was joking. Like, I was like, hey, I'll fucking come do that. And he's like, nah, like, don't fuck around with me. Like, don't play with my emotions. And gave me an opportunity to oversee him growing his hotel portfolio, as I have 20 years experience in hospitality. He said, hey, here's the deal. I'll pay you a little bit. You consult, and you get to live in a house for free on the lake in Lake Tahoe. And so every house around us starts at 1.2 million. To be able, environment is very important. And to be around these high achievers and more importantly, nature, being able to be around nature and be around people that elevate you. I think you can't put a price tag on. And nothing against Texas. I'll always own a home there, and you're in different phases of your life. But I found me needing more from my environment. And I think that more is nature. I think
there is no, it's funny when you said that, you said your environment, and, you said high achievers. And I said, no, your environment is your nature.
Yeah.
Okay. And so my wife and I are building on 2 acres, and most of that property. So we have one house to the right of us, one house to the left of us, nothing in front of us, and nothing in back of us. Okay. It is beautiful Costa Rica reserve land that's on the property in this development. By
the way, guys, hold on. He's playing small. Guys, you ever seen Tony Montana? The movie. This house is amazing. Glass overlooking San Jose, the city. Beautiful hammocks, barbecue pit. It really is. I really believe this, and I know you do too. I think that your business is going to double when you move into that house.
It is. So there's no question. And I'll tell you why, because I built that house in my mind first. I built it in my mind. Okay. I kept building it until the architect actually showed it to me. He says, is this what you were thinking about? And I go, yes, this is exactly what I was thinking about. And now it's almost completed. Right. But what's really impactful about it is surrounded by 100-year-old trees, massive, huge trunks, very incredibly tall, and so it's the fresh air. Okay. And when you walk outside, you walk 10 feet from my house, you can hear the stream right down at the base of my property. And so associating yourself with high achievers is going to get you one thing. But there is, what I have found is that when you watch any movie where there's chaos and mayhem, and there's just like this whole like crazy sort of struggle that happens, like a superhero type movie. Okay. At the end, 9 times out of 10, where do they end up? Like when it's all over, they're on this giant fucking ranch with hundreds of acres and all these trees, and they're just sitting on a porch, kind of chilling, right? And communing with nature, because that's always where the journey is going to lead you. No matter how hard you work, the success that you achieve at some point is going to send you right into nature, because you're going to need that space and you're going to need that grounding, right, to take you to the next level. Okay. There's no next level in the chaos. For you, there's a constant need to recharge your batteries, reconnect with nature, and ground yourself.
Because you said it earlier, and this is a different context. There's 2 sides of Austin. There is the I work, I get after it, like I'm in it, like grind tomorrow, like grind. And then there's the I'm way off. Like we went hiking on Saturday. It's like I'm sitting there going, this is not even fucking real. And I'm finding more peace in my soul because there are the opposites of what I look for. Like my goal, and this is true, and I'm going to do it. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I'm going to run multiple businesses and 2 podcasts, and I'm going to work 3 days a week because that's what I like. And maybe those days are 16 hours. But hear me out. I almost feel like there's 2 lives. There's work Austin, and then there's lifestyle Austin. And I think that people don't understand that they can be both, right? And my big thing is like, when you set so much separation between like, no, it only has to be this way. I only do this at this time. Well, that's not how it works. Like, when I'm down there in Costa Rica with you, I'm looking at property, right? Because it makes me excited and it kind of visions out. And like, you have to see it, feel it, taste it. One of the guys said, you have to put it in your hand before you put it in your, you have to put it in your mind before you put it in your hand. And like, at the end of the day, the best coaching session I ever had was the day that I was in Costa Rica coaching all day, because I was where I wanted to be. I was who, and I don't think enough people give themselves, they remove that from, instead of giving them what they need, right? Like, you got to give yourself what you need and understand that thing over there may not be directly correlated to the thing that you're after, but it might give you what you need to go get after the thing that you're after, right? Like, perfect example, I have coaching clients that really hate cold calling, but they feel really accomplished when they cold call. So the cold calling makes them feel good about their business and the direction, so they show up in better parts of their life. It's not always about the thing that's in front of you. It's about what is the thing that fills you up to get you to move forward in the thing that you want. And there's kind of like a lot of double talk in there. I think people understand that you have to give yourself what you need to be who you need to be. And that's nature, environment, so many things.
What you're describing right there is one word: balance. That's essential. And we don't have it. That's it. When we're stuck, when we're unhappy, when we're miserable, it's because there's not enough balance in our lives. And also people assume that balance means equal balance. No, balance means the ability to compartmentalize your day and your week and your month. And until you're able to separate yourself and be present in each one of those areas, you will not feel that balance. You will constantly be feeling off balance, because when you're having fun and enjoying the weekend, or trying to have fun and enjoying your weekend, you're thinking about work. And when you're at work, you're thinking about, oh my God, I can't wait for the weekend. You're never quite present, okay? Because you haven't really grasped the idea of duality. Duality exists. There is good, there is bad, there is light, there is dark, okay? There is work and there is enjoyment. There is, grinding and there's relaxation, okay? So, this is what is really what's called upon for people that are constant overachievers. And that's this sense of well-being that has escaped them. And it's because they don't have balance. And so learning that balance becomes some work.
And at the end of the day, it's understand for everybody that's listening out here as we wrap this up, it's a constant, continual growth, 1% better every day. You're not going to get to a place where you go, oh, I'm good.
Never.
I can just do it. It doesn't exist. And if you did, you wouldn't feel fulfilled. You
would kill yourself. And let me assure you, you would be so bored out of your mind if you could predict everything. Okay. So I'm also convinced that part of the journey, right, and is the struggle. Okay. So there's going to be moments where you're just crushing it. Things are flowing and it's incredible. And if it lasts too long, then when that part where, you know, a little discomfort comes in or a lot of discomfort comes in, you know, oh my God, I forgot how to deal with shit because things were going so well. So there's this really beautiful sort of thing that, like, even in this moment right now where I'm embracing it, going, oh, here's one of those moments where I'm forced to recognize that there's always going to be an ebb and flow. There's always going to be lean months and there's always going to be fat months. Okay. And so if I embrace and accept that, then my attitude is going to dictate everything. Okay. My attitude is going to be like, okay, what can I do with this time right here that is the most effective and that I will enjoy the most? And once that happens, sky's the limit, baby, because there is no fear. You know it's coming one way or another. It's coming.
That's right. Guys, me and Omar are going to try to be more consistent about this. He's really busy. You know, he kind of big times me a lot. So.
But amazing. Because we've got 2 interviews this week, right?
Yeah, we got 2. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm like, because he hit me up yesterday. Hey, are we still good for tomorrow? I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, here's the deal. If you got this time, I'm going to get you in again this week. We're going to do part 2 of this conversation.
All right.
We're going to spend some time. Guys, if you like this episode, send it to your friends, share it around, check out Omar's website. Trust me, he's crushing it. And thank you so much, my brother.
OmarPinto.com. Check it out.
Cassie says bye.